What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Dan Hooker thinks he's being targeted by USADA after UFC 284 IV Gate accusations. After USADA and the Western Australian Combat Sports Commission had both agreed that there was no credibility to claims that Islam Makhachev had used an IV prior to UFC 284, Dan Hooker is now saying that he's feeling the impact of his accusations. During a recent interview, Hooker revealed that he's seen an uptick of USADA tests in the wake of the accusations. The way he sees things, that isn't a coincidence.
Same as me, brother. 2-3 knocks on my door at 6 a.m. By USADA, blood in over the last couple of weeks. And you think that's a coincidence? That ain't no coincidence, baby. I'm sure, you know what I mean? But it's like, on the same hand, you think I'm just gonna like shut up and bite my tongue? It's like...
The Hangman went on to explain that after having to go through nearly 50 USADA tests throughout his career, which included a supervised urine test, he's not willing to stay silent in regards to what he calls blatant cheating by the lightweight champion. According to USADA's database, however, Hooker has yet to be tested in 2023. For their part, USADA and the Western Australian Commission have remained adamant that there was no credible evidence regarding Makhachev's alleged IV usage. After the commission released a statement on the matter, Jeff Nowitzki backed up the decision in an interview where he pointed to the Western Australian Commission's no-tolerance rule regarding IVs. So far, no word yet on what the future holds for Hooker in the wake of his UFC withdrawal. After defeating Claudio Puelles at UFC 281, he hoped to make it 2 straight before the injury. Management agencies silent after UFC makes contracts more restrictive, with former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou in the headlines for parting ways with the UFC after a lengthy contract dispute. The promotion has made their new contracts even more restrictive. The most notable change, in addition to the fact that fighters agreed to never participate in class action lawsuits against the UFC, is that fighters who now have a dispute with the promotion or their contract now go into arbitration rather than into a lawsuit. In the wake of the new contracts coming in, Fightful reached out to a list of some of the biggest management agencies in the sport, 11 to be exact, including Ali Abdelaziz's Dominance MMA, Audi Attor's Paradigm Sports, and more for their thoughts on the UFC's new contracts. Allegedly, not a single one responded. While the topic of fighter pay has continued to rage on as of late, Francis Ngannou has continued to remain adamant that the driving force in his departure from the UFC was not money, it was the terms of the contract. Notably, Ngannou wanted 3 things for fighters: health insurance, a right to wear their own sponsors, and a representative at board meetings. Although he stated that he knew the promotion would never concede to all 3 points, he hoped they could negotiate in good faith and reach a middle ground. What do you make of the UFC's latest contract changes? Sound off in the comments section below. Conor McGregor praises Henry Cejudo after Jon Jones' dominant UFC 285 win. Leading up to UFC 285, Jon Jones notably spent time training with Henry Cejudo. During one of their training sessions, Triple C was seen showing Jones an option to transition to a front headlock position from standing back clinch if his opponent was defending the position and seemed to be breaking free. When Jones stepped into the octagon on Saturday night to square off with Ciryl Gane for the heavyweight title, he found himself in the exact same position with Gane fighting off back control. After securing a takedown, Jones went to a mounted guillotine against the fence that forced his opponent to tap. When fans noticed the similarities in the side-by-side comparison, the footage quickly made the rounds on social media. Former 2-division champion Conor McGregor took to Twitter to sing Cejudo's praises in a since-deleted tweet, saying, "That's nice footage, Henry." Given McGregor and Cejudo have notably taken shots at one another over the years, it's not entirely surprising that the tweet was deleted. McGregor, who was in attendance at the event, also praised Jones on Twitter following the win. Do you think Jones and Cejudo will continue to train together in the future, given the success of the partnership so far? Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love, and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. Bo Nickal reacts to talk of low blow and UFC 285 win. While Bo Nickal made his highly anticipated debut on the big stage at UFC 285, the dominant win wasn't without controversy. Nickal's first round victory over Jamie Pickett included a low blow in the clinch from Nickal. After the dust had settled, Pickett's team revealed that they were planning to appeal the loss. When Nickal was asked about the situation during his post-fight press conference, he shut down talk of the blow landing illegally. Despite that, many have continued to point to the replay, which makes it seem like Pickett was in fact hit below the belt. During a recent appearance on the MMA Hour this week, Nickal once again doubled down on the situation, saying that he knows for a fact he did not hit Pickett in the groin.
I see what people are, I see like the angle that people see, and it's completely different from what actually happened, because I got him right on the inside of the thigh. And so I saw his reaction. I don't think I know for a fact I didn't actually hit him in the nuts.
Although Pickett seems to potentially have a case on his hands, many have pointed out that the odds of the fight being overturned to a no contest are between slim and none. What do you think ends up happening? Will Pickett win his appeal, or will the win stand for Nickal? Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. And now for our breaking news story of the day. We have Sean O'Malley entering training camp and tweeting out the date to his upcoming fight. He said on Twitter, "Can't wait for May 6th, to which Aljamain Sterling replied, "Facts. The turd isn't making up his mind. Be ready, my guy. This is the fight the fans really wanted to see anyway." Then, a fan asked Aljamain, "Is the fight confirmed, or are you waiting for it to be confirmed?" Aljamain replied with 100. "We're gonna be in the building heavy." So it looks like Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling is confirmed for May 6th at UFC 288. What are your thoughts on this fight? Does Sean O'Malley have what it takes to win the title? Stipe Miocic reacts to Jon Jones' trash talk. When Jon Jones won the vacant heavyweight title by submitting Ciryl Gane, he quickly called out former heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic, who had been tapped earlier in the week as the next man up at heavyweight. After the event, Jones spoke at the post-fight press conference, saying that if he was Miocic, he would make sure to take time off from his firefighting job to train for the fight. The newly crowned champ revealed that training for the fight will be his sole focus and suggested his next opponent to do the same. That didn't sit too well with the Cleveland, Ohio native, who responded to Jones' post-fight comments on the MMA Hour, saying,
"Yeah, I think everyone tries to say that, and then they realize they're in a world of hurt when it's not happening the way they want." And I don't know if he knows this, but I've been a fireman the whole time. I've been in my career, UFC, so, but whatever. That's none of my business. I don't really care.
As Miocic revealed in his interview, he actually thought Gane was going to get the win early on in fight week, before then coming to the conclusion that the fight was 50-50 in regard to which man was going to win. Although he may not have been thrilled with Jones' comments post-fight, he gave credit to the newly crowned champion, while expressing supreme confidence ahead of the fight. The expectation right now is that the fight will take place at UFC 290 on July 8th, headlining the UFC's massive International Fight Week event. Of course, Miocic has been absent from the octagon since his brutal second-round knockout at the hands of Francis Ngannou at UFC 260. Given that he hasn't competed since 2021, many are wondering whether the former champion will be able to overcome both the dominance of Jones and the ring rust associated with such a long layoff. How do you see things playing out when Jones and Miocic clash inside the octagon? Give us your predictions in the comment section below. Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.